the world is fighting to stay in ignorance. And we are content to let you stay ignorant. You know, now you understand how everything for them is about keeping status quo. They're ignorant, so keep everyone else ignorant. They don't read, so make sure no one else reads. That's why it was so imperative to make sure that they kept us from reading, from studying. Because they know that as soon as we start to read, that the Holy Spirit's going to come and she's going to quicken us. And they're not going to be able to ascend to the heights that we will be going to. Because we came from the heights. We came from being on top. And they know that as soon as we start to reconnect with our heritage, reconnect with our power, it's a wrap for them. So everything for them is about keeping us from not ascending. They cannot ascend. So it's not like they're hurting themselves. Everything revolves around us not ascending. Now, I keep cracking up with these people talking about the Greeks. Well, you know, in the Greek it says this. In the Greek it says that. I don't know, man. Did the Most High make a covenant with the Greeks? Or did he make a covenant with Abraham? And did that covenant go with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? During the time of Enoch, was he speaking Greek? So you guys, what you've done is you've gotten rid of our records. You translate them into your language and then try to assume a position of authority. You are all Johnny-come-latelys. You all have shown up late to the party. So you pretty much say anything before you is not historical. Just like Herodotus somehow around 500 BC is the father of history. Yeah, he's the father of your history. He's the father of when you showed up at the party. But we have information that shows you that we've been here long before you. The Most High made covenants with our people. You have nothing, absolutely nothing to do or say about the covenant that was established between our forefathers and the Most High. So you see, what you need to do is go over there and just deal with your menial God, the one that keeps you away from the Most High, because that's why the Most High put those gods over you in the first place, because the Most High doesn't want to deal with you. That's why he gave you these other gods to worship. Now, if you are called to follow our power, you're going to do it in order. You're going to cleave to the Most High's chosen people. You're going to do what we say. But let me show you a little something, because, you know, we talk about the book of Enoch. Enoch wasn't speaking Greek, but but Enoch isn't good enough for the Gentiles, right? And it's apparently not good enough for the camps either. So that kind of makes me kind of suspicious. But did you guys know that actually Matthew read from Enoch? And it's actually referred to in the Bible. Let me show you. This is my wife's old Bible here, the New American Bible right here. And when she was first coming into the truth, you know, she had a hard time because she was raised hardcore Catholic. So, you know, you can tell them things, you can tell everyone things, but the Most High has to call you. So, you know, I talked about the book of Enoch, and so she was reading and studying her Bible, and look at what she found. You can zoom in here at the bottom right there. It's talking about First Enoch, right there, 10 and 13. So Matthew 25 and 41, talking about fire prepared for his angels, is actually reference to First Enoch 10 and 13. And when my wife tried to go to the priest and ask, like, where's the book of Enoch? Why is this in my Bible? He tried to just blow it off like, oh, you don't need to worry about reading that. You don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about that. That's what they always do. But in their own Bible, they're referring to First Enoch 10 and 13, even though that book is not in the Bible. Why is it referred to in the Bible, but no one reads it? Because everyone fights. All these Gentiles have been fighting to not read. They have been fighting to not study. Well, the Josephus only says this. It only says, okay, so Josephus is the one now dictating what we read? See, these books are already pre-established way beforehand. But just like I showed you guys in the last video, they don't like what's written in the Bible. They don't like what's written in the other scriptures. See, and Enoch is telling you about the 70 shepherds and how the Most High gave us over to the 70 shepherds, and it's very plain to see. But they killed way more people than they were supposed to. They don't want that story out. They don't want the world to realize that you guys have made a covenant with these with the devil, and this covenant has an expiration date. And that expiration date is here. Us being raised up at this point shows you all you need to know. All those stories in the Apocrypha that you haven't read are now coming to pass. We have awoken in the land, or awakened in the lands of our captivities. Most High said there's going to be other books that are going to be released here at the end. Most High said you're going to be punished for what you've done to his chosen. Most High said we were going to go into slavery, but it wasn't for our destruction. We were going to be sold into slavery, but it wasn't not for our destruction, but because we moved the Most High to wrath. All these things that you guys have been talking about, all these things that you've been trying to hide, have been coming to pass. The only people that is hurting are you. Because now you have no idea what's really going on with prophecy. See, this is why these other books are so important. Because the lie of the other nations cannot continue with these other books. Cannot continue if you read. Cannot continue, okay, if you are at the bottom. You are at the tail when you don't read, when you don't study, and you don't have the Holy Spirit. So like I said, just take a look again. Matthew 25:41. Fire prepared for his angels. First Enoch 10 and 13. Where it is said of the evil angels of Semyaza, their leader, in those days they will lead them into the bottom of the fire, and in torment, and the prison where they will be locked up forever. That's in this Catholic Bible. But I'm sure they'll say something about the Greeks. The Greek didn't put it in there, so therefore it's not true. The Greeks didn't see anything about this, so it's not true. You know, Romans didn't say anything about this. They didn't approve this, so it's not true. Even though, like I said, now you can see that Matthew is referring to the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch is not good enough for the Gentiles, but it was good enough for the Israelites. The book of Jude there refers to, the book of Enoch. Again, it's not good enough for the Gentiles, but it's good enough for Israelites. So like I said, we have two totally parallel things going on right here. Two parallel realities going on right now. That's what you're seeing. And you're seeing these two parallel breakdowns of our scriptures. You got the lies of the other nations who try to interject themselves by making it illegal for us to follow our ways, being forced to read the books that they've translated, and then try to portray themselves as these as the authorities over our scriptures. And you said, and like I said, I had the other video when I talked about, how they spread their religion through the end of a sword, through the end of a gun. And they don't even touch that. They do say things like, oh, they weren't real Christians. Well, hold on. If those people were not real Christians back then and they don't represent you, then why don't you return all the shit they stole? Why don't you return all the things that they stole? If they don't represent you and the way that they did things, the way they conducted themselves, and you are not down with that, then why don't you restore the pledge and restore all the things that your churches have stolen? Why don't you stand up and talk about the things that they've done? Why don't you talk about the history, their horrible history, and try to make amends for it? If you don't agree with it and they don't represent you, that's usually what I would do. If someone's doing something in my name and I don't agree with it, I would say something. I would stand up and say something. But see, you're all quiet. Why are you quiet? Because deep down inside, you agree wholeheartedly with everything that they've done. Because that's the only way that you were able to get all the dainties of this life. In Revelation 11, you were dancing and enjoying your lives when the two witnesses were dead in the streets. The two witnesses were the Israelites. So you can say now all of a sudden that those weren't real Christians or whatever else. They were Christian enough for you for the last few hundred years. They were Christian enough for you to enjoy the dainties that they brought to you. So you cannot separate yourself now. Now that the Most High has revealed, their horrible, dastardly actions, you can't separate from them now, because you've taken the bag. You've taken all the goodly and pleasant things that they could bring to you by taking us down. And now it's time to pay. That's why now you can see that these people have absolutely no understanding whatsoever. They don't want to read, and they fight to not read. They fight to not study. They fight to not follow the Most High. So be my guest. Continue that fight. Keep that same energy all the way through, because your time is done. Shalom.